again, and welcome to Moral High Ground, where I talk about what's morally right, period. I can say to you, like I always do, but what's morally right, period. And you can find this podcast on the great Spotify as well as Apple Podcasts. I think I'm on Apple now, and freaking Radio Public, Pocket Cast, and Google Podcast. And today's issue is: are they really helping? Or are they enabling? Now you're like, what the hell am I talking about once again? So let me tell you what the hell I'm talking about. There's bills that's being passed, like I was saying last week, that has to do with, the voting season for random crap that happens in your city. And here in Portland, uh, we just passed certain bills just, I guess, last week or something. But today, in the, news, the breaking news type of thing, they came up with a bill that was passed here in Oregon. Now, this is pertaining or referring to the homeless people and the homeless situation. And they were saying that in Oregon, I'm reading this to you off my phone. It says Oregon bill would allow homeless people to sue. Understand, homeless people to sue residents if they are harassed. Now, I have a big problem with this, and everybody else should too if they own property or they're renting somewhere or any business owner or anything. You should have a problem with this because they passed a bill for homeless people to sue you when you see that the majority of them, I don't know what the number is anymore, I think it's like 10,000 homeless people in a city where there's over 600,000, they're able to hold the whole city hostage, keep us afraid to go on public transportation, burning things in all kinds of places that you would never seen burned before, like a bridge that's burning out of nowhere, or a church that burned down. They burned a 100-year-old church down, people. They're burning things constantly through the city. It's like watching Demolition Man or one of those old ass 90s action movies where things are just burning in the city for no reason. They've automatically went around and took your kids up under hostage. They're feeding them drugs. They're doing all these things. They're begging people for cigarettes, for money. And none of them are even trying to get help half the time because they adapted to the lifestyle they wanted. And they harass people. I mean, harass people. I've seen people screaming with them. I've seen people fighting them. I've seen people yelling at them in stores. You can go in a store dressed. It could be a day you ain't did your laundry, and you go to the store and they think you're homeless. You can't tell anymore. The lines are so thin. You know, a regular mom could be looked at as a homeless person if she has kids and she's always so worried about her kids, she's not keeping herself up. Oh, she's considered a homeless person. But the point about what I'm getting at is this: now there's a bill that says they can sue you, and they be on properties where they know they're not supposed to be. They want to take over homes by trying to either squat there or hang out in front of them. And so now, if they hang out in front of your house and they trash your yard or whatever, you are wrong for trying to tell them to get the hell away. Even if you have to chase them with a stick, you are wrong. That means that property was never truly yours if that's what they're trying to pass this bill for. It's not helping the homeless situation. It's enabling them to do more crime. It's enabling them to trash properties. We have a problem right now in Portland where all the businesses are leaving downtown Portland. I've seen businesses that sell that look like they've been around forever, and they have some of them, and they're gone, just like that, in a flash, right? Why? Because they're enabling them. It's not helping. You're saying, hey, you broke a window, good job. There's a business that just, I think it's called Snack Shack or something, just opened. Before it was even open, some guy just broke a window for the hell of it. So it cost him another, what is it, maybe 1,500 to buy a new window, 200. You never know, somewhere in the thousands. But either way, yeah, let's just break businesses to destroy them. Some businesses are ultimately not hurt at all. Why? Who knows? Maybe because they buy a book at the Powell's bookstore, so they don't want to trash it. Or maybe there's some kind of reason they love to just go in the safe way and steal stuff instead of trying to destroy it. Who knows? My point being is this isn't right. What it's saying is it's saying that regular citizens are no longer regular citizens, that the homeless people are considered citizens, and that you, as a person that works hard, owns your own property, don't truly own it, and you have no say of anything that happens in or around your property if these individuals can be in front of your residence and trash it to all hell. They're saying that you are the problem because you won't respect these homeless people and their privacy and their wishes when you're the one that live at that residence. That is bad. That is wrong. It should not exist. A law like this is only to commit, only gives these people time to commit more crimes. Honestly, it's not about the safety of the people or the concern of the homeless people. It's not about trying to better them or help them from getting beat down. In some cases, they deserve to. Some of the things I've seen homeless people do, and I'm not saying all homeless people, don't get me wrong, I get that all the time. Shelby, you're talking about everybody. I'll say something about a woman. Oh, you're talking about all women. I'll say something about something, anything. Oh, you're talking about everybody. No, there are some out there who are really far gone, seriously far gone. And I'm not saying they're far gone because they're homeless. They've been there forever. There's a difference between homeless and drug addicted. And what we got is drug addicted people who choose to live in the streets, not homeless people. There's a difference. If I lose my job and I can't pay my rent anymore and I'm out on the streets, that's what happened. That makes me homeless. But if you out there on the street because you're freaking on drugs, no one wants you around because that's usually what happens when you're on drugs. The family wants you to get rid of you. Your friends don't want to hang out with you anymore because you're on some crap in a different level that they don't want to comprehend, and you can't stay employed. And so you choose to live a life of chasing a damn drug, chasing that monster, that demon that's destroying your life and those that you care for. And most likely your lover, if you have one. That's another odd thing I see is lovers influencing other lovers to stay on drugs. And so ultimately they end up homeless and staying homeless. This situation is far more worse than trying to say, okay, well, let's just give them housing. Let's put them in a shack. Let's put them in a tiny tent on top of a freaking pallet and say we're helping the people. This is what's been going on the news. They talk about the mayor's little village, called it Safe Village, with the tiny little homes, and they're pretty much the size of closets. And you're putting these homeless people in there, some of them being elderly, where they might have wheelchairs, and yet they can't fit the wheelchair in there. They're in a freaking closet, tiny little spot, and there's multiples of them. What happens? I've seen it down here right next to the train station, and they take over the whole block. Those that are in the tiny homes, they're happy, but all their friends they know are all hanging around the fence of the tiny home, trashing it, blocking sideways, so freaking our sidewalks to where elderly people can't ride their wheelchairs down the street. And blind people hit their cane and they get beat up because they knocked over someone's stuff because they're trying to feel around for what's in front of them. I myself had two jobs at the time, and I tried to run to this little crappy ass neighborhood, and this girl, obviously on drugs, with her little drug friend, has a bike turned upside down. Now I got a thing with vision. Sometimes I can't see far away, and this is nighttime, so it makes it even worse. And she has all these things around the corner, on the corner, like little bottles, cans, bags, all this stuff surrounding this area where this bike is blocking the way. But the only way you can get through pretty much was where the bike was. Accidentally knocked it over. Bro, I started cussing me out. And I just flipped out like, hey, go get a fucking job. Get off the street. Get a place. So they go, oh, you my way. You are blocking the whole freaking sidewalk. No one told you to put all that shit around the corner to where no one can walk by. And when I started doing this, everyone in the area shut the hell up. The people that was working in the supposed shelter was quiet as hell. The people on the block that was homeless, the other ones, quiet as hell. Because everything I said was the damn truth. How can you block a whole city block just so you can make yourself out happy? That's selfishness. That's rudeness. Now I'm trying to go to work. This woman's like, oh, at least I have a bike. No, what you have is insanity. You have too much freaking pride in being homeless. And on top of that, you're a person who is selfish as all hell because you think that whole city block belongs to you. Never mind a woman in a wheelchair with the puppy that just want to get by, or the blind man that can't get through, or a group of kids that's probably going to on a field trip to go see something near there because there's an art museum over there, and yet there's still well, the post office was fully functional then, but at the same time, my point is this: you can't stop everyday human motions and transactions just so you can sit there and get high on the corner on crystal meth. That's ridiculous. And so, after my rant, which lasted a good 5, 10 minutes, 2 days later, I go by there. That whole area is clear because of what I said must have impacted some people. Because there's people in their cars when I was flipping out, all kinds of shit. None of them was mad at the fact of what I was saying because everything was the truth. But everyone was looking at this girl like she sounds stupid. And I even seen a guy come from outside of a building to see what the argument was going on and walk to the corner because I made it clear you got stuff wrapped around the corner to where no one can walk. I'm trying to cross the streets. I gotta step over this shit. Okay? And so this guy saying like he was like shaking his head like this, like, oh yeah, he's right. But the thing about it is with that scenario, and the reason why I bring it up is because of this new bill that's just passed. You got a bill passed to where you're saying they can sue someone like me that would say, I'm trying to get to where I need to go and you're in the way. So that's harassing you, but you insulted me. First, you stopped me from getting away a normal way that people supposed to walk through to get to where they're trying to go. Then you insult me, and you don't expect me to flip out on you. I could break my freaking. I should have had my hip broken a couple years ago. So you want me to fall on something and break my damn hip again and injure myself to where I had to go to the hospital and spend more money when I ain't making enough money at all. Hell, the whole country ain't making enough money. But you want me to bypass all that to let you have your way. To hell with your way. To hell with this enabling shit. I'm sorry. I'm mad about it. I'm just like I don't get it. Why do we continue to put money into resources where we don't know where the money's going? The governor takes over, says, "Hey, we're gonna make a place to get the homeless off the street." And her bright idea is to put an area where you're gonna put pallets down and let them put their tents on the pallets. And then you say you don't want tents within the city, but I still see tents in the city. So what are you doing? You're not helping anybody. You're not going to give out. They were giving them out. Now they're not giving them out. But yet they still come up with them because you let them realize how much they're worth and how much easy it is for them to get it and where they can put them. This is beyond stupid. There's kids getting drug addicted. There's more crime because of it. I grew up in this city my whole life, born and raised in this city. Sometimes I feel cursed and trapped because I can't get out of this damn city. But I still be able to have my own spot and always fight to get what I want. These people don't have that drive, that ambition. A true homeless person that wants to do something, will try to do something. But you're giving handouts to people who spits on your face, spits in your hand, and say, hey, here you go, here's some help. How can you let some drugs be legal? That's pretty much what it is now. They're legal because they have to have a certain amount to go to jail. So they know what amount they have not to have. They know they shouldn't have a certain amount. So they don't have that amount. So they have lower, whatever it is, a gram or whatever the hell. Okay? And they have that lower amount. So they know if they have that low amount, they're not going to jail. So then here's the next question with that. If they know that and you allow it all to happen, where's all the rehab places? Where's all the places for rehabilitation to help these people? If you're going to allow something of that capacity, it could damage people that are weak. Because you have to be weak to want to be on fentanyl, meth, and crack, and all that ignorant shit. Okay, stuff that messes up your cerebral, keep you up all night, itching, dirt in your fingers and shit. where do you see a person in that? Even though you see them suffering, miserable, sadness. I learned this back in the 80s and the 90s. They have to want to do it. You can't just give them handouts and say, hey, they did a good job, now they got a place. No. Like I said before, they have to unlearn the habits they created. And that's what these facilities used to be for. That's what these drug rehab places used to be for. Unlearn the negative abuse, self abuse habits that they created and get them in a more positive state of mind to where they're able to go handle something and take charge of their lives. But you're not doing that. You're letting them do whatever the hell they want. I seen a guy go on the damn max and rip the seat out, then turns around, cuss out a transgender person, and then the person throws that person must have been homeless. They throw a freaking biscuit or whatever it was. I think it was a muffin, and then threw it on the ground. I can't make this shit up. Y'all think I'm making it? This shit really happens. Okay, it's crazy stuff. But it ripped the whole dang seat out. How much did the TriMet lose from this guy damaging, ripping the seat out, and all this crap? You don't know, but yeah, it doesn't matter to homeless people. It ain't coming out of their pocket. They're not gonna catch this guy. He could be sleeping anywhere. Hell, he could be sleeping under the freaking Burnside Bridge somewhere, or underneath the freaking train tracks if he wants to. Who knows? They can sleep anywhere. Even though that sounds crazy, but yeah, they'll sleep by the train tracks. They don't give a shit. Okay, so enough of that. The point is, how do you stop this? What makes the change? Now, last week I was talking about having a political party. I was talking about having one that was able to be different than the Democrats and Republicans. And in a conversation I had very recently, an individual was agreeing with me, but in a different sense. Because I was saying, yeah, Democrats and Republicans are the same. Originally, they were the same party. He was able to throw more light on that fire and say, hey, the Democrats and the Republicans say the same thing, but the difference is they say it differently. They say it differently and they talk differently to make you think that they're talking about different issues when it's the same damn issue. And it's the truth. We need people that's going to say, that's in office that truly got some damn sense. Now, I said it before on UUPN, where I was, and you can look it up. It's on YouTube. It was UUPN on my channel, SOK Universe, which I'm on, as well as this podcast. And the thing about it is, I said clear as day. In the whole helping homeless or house, fixing the homeless situation, solution, whatever, you'll find it. And I said clear as day, buy land. Buy land. Some people say when I tell them this, oh, just throw them out there and let them live in there. No. Buy some land. You're already buying little crappy houses to put them in. That probably cost $3,000 each one, because you're putting all these little, luxuries in there, like a little toilet, maybe a little, because that's what they do in them tiny homes. They can have a kitchen in there and all that. You see those things where you can buy a tiny home and put it in this place. So with all them little luxuries and a little tiny spot, that's money being wasted. So let's just say you have 30 of those and all them little tiny homes with all them luxuries. That's not enough to cover the money that's been given to the local government to say that you help the homeless. If you got, and I'm still gonna bitch about it, $20 million in COVID relief money, $20 million, and yet where'd it go? They've been saying for years that the last time I saw, they said, oh, they still got it. Plus, they give it a different name. They don't say it's the COVID relief money. They say, oh, it's money that came from this and that. Well, if you don't follow the news, then you're going to believe that. No, it's still the COVID relief money that never got spent on the homeless that was supposed to, along with this other $4 million that got added to it, that they say they took out of your money from your bills or taxes or whatever. And then so what does that leave you? That leaves you with a state that doesn't care, a state that really doesn't care about putting the money to what they say they were going to do. Now, this is a new thing. This happens all the time through every state in the United States of America. But the thing about it is, why are you letting the little 10, maybe 6,000, 10,000 people that are homeless, maybe even more because I haven't checked in a minute. Take over a city over 600,000 people, make the whole city under siege. You know, it's like that stupid uh, fucking Steven Seagal movie, man. They're under siege, okay? And there's nobody doing some weird ass, Akita running around with ponytails, okay? The honest to God truth is, they're taking that money to do what they want, fattening their pockets. While you're out here suffering, trying to figure out ways so your kids don't become victims of this stuff, figuring out ways to try to work your way through the city without being hurt by these assholes, walking around with weapons that you never thought you'd put in your pocket because you don't feel safe, trying to defend you and your friends and stuff, stopping women from being hurt or whatever. You never know anymore. The true problem is society is failing us as people. The government is failing us, and they're leaving us out here. And you got to wonder what is going on. Portland ain't a city no more. It's a concentration camp. The people who can't financially find their way out, man, that could be homeless or non-homeless. That's the truth. This is why all the businesses are leaving. They see it. They say this is a trap. These people are just going to cost us more money. We made enough money. Best to get out this city now before it gets worse. That's what most people are saying. So, how do we bypass this? Because it's not helping. Okay? And those that are supposed to be mentally ill, homeless people, are drug induced mentally ill. Okay? They have a chemical disbalance because they put too much chemicals in their body. Okay? Time to stand up for what's right is now. The time to say we don't like any of this government anymore, and we need to be reelected. We need to get a reelection before voting season even starts. You need somebody to make a bill to do that. To change politicians, local politicians. Okay, and we need a way to either make these people feel accountable for their actions, which means actually doing time for the crap they're doing, not just throw them right back out in the streets and let all hell break loose. This is why I say defunding the police was retarded, because you didn't have an alternative. I mentioned in my mental monologue, one of my first episodes, was actually the first episode I did on this channel, where I talk about defunding the police and I talk about how you got to replace them. And I was thinking at the time gangbangers, because they already know cop procedure. They get arrested enough, hell, they deal with the cops a lot, and they're already used to protecting their neighborhoods. But, I can digress, because people take it out of control now. They ain't like back in the day. You got these idiots that just like want to have the clout, as they say, of being a gangbanger, when really it was all about protecting the neighborhood, protecting your people, your people of color or whatever's in your neighborhood. You know, the thing I'm saying is this: we need to take this situation seriously. There's alternatives. I gave up many. One where you go on, you get recommissioned boats, put certain people out there, homeless folks or whatever, have them go out to sea, go port to port with fishes and stuff, and make money, and then they're able to take care of themselves. There's no reason why. The ocean's big. You can have a fleet of them communicating with each other and coming back, and then after whatever time they serve, bam, they're perfect now. They got money. They got their own spot. You got the land idea I got, where you put a medical facility out there, a mental health facility out there, put a couple franchises. McDonald's got franchises everywhere. So there's freaking Subway. Subway's good. Eat fresh, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just saying, there's more solutions I can throw out there. I thought of all of them, but none of them will be processed, because I'm telling you, I'm not a politician or someone greedy with money that just doesn't really care about what's going on. They're just gonna ease things out a little bit. You see, most of these government jobs, most of these jobs where it comes to working with people, if you do too much, then you're the problem. It's something I had to learn from a job where I deal with the people. Because they want to do less. The less you do, the more grants and government funding they get. And so they truly don't care about what's happening with the people. But those who do care, like myself and others, are penalized for caring. Which brings me back to what I said before. and many different things that I've created over the past however long on this internet stuff. When the good become bad, the bad become good. Okay, what's good becomes bad. Bad things become good, and that's the honest truth. Okay, and with that being said, good people are all getting punished, all around the board. But the solution is trying to put out more mental health facilities that help people with drug addiction. That's the main solution. Help out drug addicted people by putting out rehabilitations and things like that. Take the money to put it to that. Make at least six of them throughout the city. Six. I only say six because you can break down regions of the city and put these mental health facilities out there. Okay, and then take one of the other options I came up with, like the boat one. Someone think they want to get off the streets, bang, put them in the boat, let them go sail, make money and fishing, going port to port. Maybe they find a port they want to stay at. Maybe the port might be, who knows, in Alaska, or the port might be somewhere in South America. But they want to stay there because they feel they have an opportunity of survival. Okay, and then the same thing with the land thing. Put them out there, but don't just put them out there in the land where they got the medical facility and everything, like I'm saying. But teach them farming skills, teach them blacksmithing, whatever. Make it a whole thing of how they learn to work for themselves, like the rest of us do. And not just that, make it ultimate spot. And this one's the best one. Make the ultimate spot where all people who are homeless and drug addicted pay the penalty for their actions. Stay in a spot where they belong when they create these issues that lead to the part where you wouldn't have this issue going on where you're saying, oh, let's let the homeless people sue residents, for harassing them. That's the most ridiculous thing. This right here should tell you never buy a house in Oregon again or Portland again. Because you're saying you're a joke if you buy a house here. Homeless people run this town and your opinion does not matter. With that being said, I believe morally, hell, it's obvious this is wrong. But morally, yes, God wants you to help out those in need. He wants you to help out the homeless. But here's the thing. He doesn't want you to sell yourself short or put yourself out there to where you're being hurt. And in this situation, you're putting yourself out there to get hurt. The homeless don't appreciate the help. And the city is just being greedy and holding out money. The only thing I can say is God help us all in this matter. Hopefully someone can hear this, and if you do and you watch it, pass it on. I've been passionate about getting the homeless off the streets for a very long time. And no one wants to hear what I'm talking about. But one day, someone's going to look back at these and say, damn, that guy knew what he was talking about. We should listen to him. Because it didn't start here in Oregon. It started in Seattle. It's all over, freaking Skid Row, New York, every major city across the United States of America, as well as cities that are completely abandoned. I would have to say, in that type of way, the evil people were drawn to these cities to cause this chaos because a lot of people come to Portland and say they're not from Portland. Hell, I've seen people that even live here lie and say they never was born here. I'm telling you, I'm born and raised in this crappy ass city because that's what it is now. Before you look around, you think you have an idea for opportunity to survive, but now you don't. But I just hope for the best that we help the right people, regardless of homeless or not, and quit enabling them to do wrong and enable them to have a heart to do right for the benefit of all mankind. And with that being said, peace be with you all. Blessings upon you always. And do a good job in your life. And you will be blessed in return. I'll be back most likely tomorrow because I want to rant about some more stuff. So I'll see you then. Peace. Peace out.